Hi there, welcome back to the ABC Workshop. I'm Sophia Jacob, an artist and an art productivity coach, and in case you're wondering what that is, I help artists make more art more consistently and with less stress. In this video, I would be reviewing the Camel Artist Watercolor Cake Set of 48 shades. Now, if you've been following me for a while, you would know that I've already done a very detailed review comparing the Camel Artist Watercolor Cake Set with the student grade set. So why am I doing this again? I have to admit I did what most art hoarders are guilty of doing, and that is to buy an art product just because the packaging looks so irresistible. I had to buy this for myself and see what has changed. So if you're as curious as me, stay with me and watch this video right till the end. But before that, I have created a free e-guide titled 10 Mistakes to Avoid While Buying Art Supplies. So don't forget to check the link in the first pinned comment below. And now let's continue with the review. First off, let's look at the outer packaging. It's simple and minimalistic, which is what makes it so attractive. It's just a plain white background with the print that has watercolor blending in the foreground. Now, if you watched my review of the Dom's Amari's Watercolor Paints set last week, they too have something similar on their box, yet there is a stark difference. The blending on the Dom's box is blotchy, but right here on the Camel packaging, the colors look rich and vibrant and shows beautiful blending. I think it's really important for brands to choose the right images to put on their packaging because something like this infuses more confidence in the product. Moving on, you can immediately see that the company has revamped its logo and style, and it has been given the most prominence in terms of color and placement. The word artist is highlighted in gold, followed by few other details in smaller black font. Apart from these, the front is kept fairly uncluttered, except for the mention of No. 2 mop brush included in the box, which I feel adds on to the appeal. The design on the back looks cluttered and is not as aesthetically pleasing as the front, but I appreciate the fact that they have included the shade swatches, though details like pigment number, series number, or transparency is not mentioned. They also have some other information like the company address, the customer care details, product, content, size, etc. This specific box was manufactured in May 2025 and has been priced at Rs 750. I found an old set of Camel watercolor cake set and I want to do a quick comparison. You can immediately see that there is a significant contrast between the two packaging. The logo has clearly changed and the new logo is simple yet eye-catching. In the previous packaging, Camel Kokuyo was also mentioned, which I know caused a lot of confusion because one wasn't sure if the brand was called Camel, Camelin or Camelin Kokuyo. There's no such confusion in the new packaging since the brand has decided to just keep its original name. Now, while the outer packaging may have held restraint in its design, what you get inside is a stark contrast. I have unboxed and reviewed several paints over the years, and I must say this box is the most eye-catching of it all. I have seen black metal boxes and white plastic ones, but this bold red metal box is a statement. The red screams energy, passion, action, and this is definitely designed to grab your attention. It's undeniable that the bright color gives the brand a youthful and modern vibe. The box opens up to give a large mixing area. It's interesting to note that this is just a large flat space with no grooves, so there is a possibility that the paints may mix unintentionally if you're not too careful. There is a thick cardstock paper placed with the color swatches and their name and color number mentioned. This of course is identical to the swatch card given in the outer packaging. When you lift this card, you see the color tablets laid out in neat rows with all the warm shade on the left and the cooler ones on the right. Each color is already open and exposed with the brand name etched in it. There are a few shades in the top left half which have pastel hues to it, so it's easy to guess that these colors will have chalkiness to it and will show opaque qualities. This to me is a little bit alarming since I tend to mix color intuitively without too much thought, and I won't want to risk contaminating my transparent colors with the opaque chalky ones. Hopefully these colors are restricted to only this area, and in that case I would probably seal it off with a tape or something similar. Like mentioned in the outer packaging, this set comes with a No. 2 mop brush, which is light and comfortable to hold. I'm looking forward towards testing it out as we go along. The plastic tray is loosely placed in the metal box, and it's possible to lift the tray and use this area beneath for mixing as well. The tray is on the flimsier side, but I think it would hold up if it's handled carefully. Now let's proceed to do a swatch test. I'm really looking forward to see how well these paints perform and whether they do qualify as artist grade paint. For the swatch test, I'm using 270 GSM rough watercolor paper. I've made 48 boxes and labeled them with color numbers corresponding to the colors in the box. I've used a permanent black marker to cut across these boxes to check the transparency of the paints. Let's begin. These are my observations while doing the swatch test. As expected, these paints on the top left corner are extremely opaque, almost covering up the black marker. In fact, there's several colors in the box which display semi-opaque qualities. But having said that, the intensity of the colors across is pretty good. They look reasonably rich and vibrant, especially the hues of red, blues and purples. There are also few colors that look very similar and repetitive, and this is especially true with the blues. Talking about these pastel shades, while I am apprehensive of these since I'm a watercolor purist, this may excite artists such as urban sketchers since these colors are widely found across urban landscape, and having these premixes can actually help them work faster and efficiently. So it really boils down to one's own personal preferences. Just a few words on the enclosed mop brush. The bristles are of course synthetic, but it's able to hold a good amount of water, and you can see that it's caused backwashes or cauliflowers when used in small areas. The other issue is that the brush is practically too big to use on these tiny paint tablets. The tablets themselves are sunk into the container, so as a result of this, one has to spend few extra seconds to coax the pigment to get onto the brush. I just feel for a set like this, a regular round brush would have been a better choice than a mop brush. I also want to bring your attention to these grooves between each paint. I'm appreciative of this since it helps the paint from contaminating the neighboring sections. Now, since we have a mop brush to work with, I'm thinking of doing a landscape sketch for the demo. For this, I'll be using a reference image from a book by Milind Malik, which is all about watercolors. It's a good informational guide, so if you haven't picked it up yet, I recommend that you check it out. I will put the link in the description box below. It covers all the basic techniques of watercolor painting and is a well-recommended book for beginners. I think I will go for something really simple and sketch it out to test this paint set. As I do the sketch, I run into the same problem as earlier. The mop brush holds way too much water, and due to its large size is unable to pick up enough pigments from the palette. As a result, the painting looks dull and lifeless. I just feel a large brush like this is best to be used with tube paints, wherein the paints are moist and there is ample space on the palette to manipulate the brush around. Somehow I just feel that this is the right brush, but for a totally wrong set. But I'm not going to give up on the set just yet, since I've already seen during the swatch test that the set do have rich and vibrant colors. So I'm going to switch to what I love the most, and that is sketching a simple everyday object. For this, I'm shifting to my favorite Hahnemühle sketchbook with 200 GSM paper. This time I have chosen to sketch a Tabasco sauce bottle, which I have roughly sketched out in pencil. So without further ado, let's begin. I have decided to continue my tryst with the mop brush, not willing to give up on it so easily. Now, due to the size of the area that I'm working with, I am faring slightly better than previously. The pigments are looking more vibrant, but I'm having to deal with backwashes. Personally, I don't mind this since I'm not looking for a realistic painting, and I feel that these surprises actually add a lot of character to the final outcome. Overall, while I'm happy with the results, to be honest, the shade is not exactly what I wanted. But sometimes when you're working with a new set, it takes a few paintings to wrap your brains around the placement of colors. And in this case, I had to keep referring back to my swatch test to see which color is placed where. But having said that, the colors are definitely looking more vibrant. I was able to get the values that I wanted without having to go back and forth too often. Now that we have done a very detailed review, let's look at the pros and cons. On the positive, I love the way the brand has revamped itself. The red looks bold and eye-catching and gives a very modern and youthful look. I also love the colors that are held within the box. They have a very good variety and the pigments are rich and vibrant, especially the reds, the blues and the purples. The inclusion of pastel colors, while not very appealing to me, might work really well with urban sketches for quick realistic application. But most importantly is the price point. At Rs 750 for 48 shades, this makes a great box for beginners if they're looking to upgrade their set. On the negatives, however, there are several shades in the box which are opaque and chalky, and this might not work for artists who are looking for transparency in their paints. Also, since there are no series number or pigment number mentioned, artists who want paints for archival use may be disappointed. Another negative is the fact that this mob brush is incompatible with the set. I just feel that it's too large for the small paint tablets, and a small round brush would have been a better choice for this set. And now coming to the most important question, is this set worth buying? And my opinion is that yes, it is. Whether you're a beginner or you've been painting for a while, this set is a good value for money. But I do recommend that you buy a few more brushes to supplement the mob brush that is contained within the box. However, if you're a landscape artist or you're just an artist who likes to paint on large stretches of watercolor paper, in that case, this set might not be the right one for you. I really hope you enjoyed watching this video and that it helps you make the right decision. And also don't forget to check the free e-guide that I have created titled 10 Mistakes to Avoid While Buying Art Supplies. You will find the link in the first pinned comment below. If you enjoyed this video, do click the like button and do subscribe to my channel to watch an art supply review every Wednesday.